guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree if you are new here, and in today's video I want to do a full face using only drugstore makeup. So literally everything from eye primer all the way down to setting spray, everything in this video is going to be drugstore. So if you guys want to hang out and see some of my favorite drugstore products, then just keep on watching. So this product looks a little funny because I have it chip clipped because I'm running out, which ironically I actually could have finished a long time ago, but I knew that I was filming this video and this video actually got pushed back a couple times. So I've kind of just had it sitting on my vanity waiting for this video because I didn't want to run out before then, because I like it, but I don't necessarily plan on repurchasing it, if that makes any sense. It's one of those products, I should say what it is, shouldn't I? It's the Ulta Matte Eye Primer. It's one of those products that, like, in a pinch I could absolutely see myself repurchasing, and I like it significantly more than a lot of other primers, the eye primers that I have tried. I just don't like it as much as like the MAC Paint Pot, so I would always choose MAC Paint Pot over this one. I will say that this one has a little bit of a learning curve to it in regards to how much you apply to your lids. When I first started using it, I definitely was like applying a little bit too much, and it was looking, well, it's matte, so it was looking not so great on my lids. But once I kind of figured out exactly how much to use and the best way to apply it, it works fine now. Like, it works great now. I don't have any issues with it necessarily. It's just not my, like, absolute favorite, but obviously MAC isn't drugstore, so. I will say, in terms of, like, coverage level of it, it's pretty much the same as, like, a MAC Paint Pot. It does pretty much the same thing. It's obviously just a smidge more matte than MAC, but, I mean, it's in the name, so you can't really be surprised. Obviously, the biggest downfall of it being that it only comes in one shade, and obviously it does have some level of pigment to it, so if you have a deeper complexion, it's not going to work for you because it's just going to look super, super ashy on your lids. And then for eyeshadow palette, I'm going to use the one that's been like my absolute favorite recently, and that would be the ColourPop Your Golden palette. I am, however, going to try really hard not to go into my favorite shades on this palette. I mean, I love all of the shades. They're all amazing quality, but if you look, you can tell which shades I go for the most, which would be like in this area, right in here. I'm going to try and use some different shades today. So I'm going to start out with a really small fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into this bottom shade down here, Cover Up, and I'm going to start building that up on my outer corner. My apologies, by the way, if lighting in this video is a little bit strange. I'm filming rather early in the morning. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm actually filming before work, which is not normal for me. I usually only film on my days off. But I am going out of town in September. By the time you're seeing this, I will have already gone and come back from that trip. But I'm going to be going out of town in September for a couple days, and the way that, like, the trip is landing in the week, like, we're going to be gone from Thursday until Monday. So the way that would work with my like work schedule is it actually is basically making it so that there's 2 weeks in a row that I won't have like a dedicated day off. I'll be off on Tuesday and we'll be home, and ideally I plan on filming that day, but like I also don't know for sure that that's gonna happen. Like, I don't want to bank on it. I can't even remember what time we get home on Monday, to be really completely fucking honest with you. So I'm trying really hard to, like, get myself a little bit ahead on filming so that I know October and November, I don't, especially November for some reason, a lot of my videos are like one video per day filming. Like, I don't have a lot of just like straight speaking videos that I can film like 2 videos back to back. So I'm trying to make sure that I have the ability to actually get everything filmed that I want to get filmed. So with all that being said, I am filming before work today. And if you happened to see my makeup for a metal show video, real quick, next up, I'm going to take a larger fluffy brush and I'm going to go into the shade Covet and start blending out cover up and put this into my crease as well. Or into my transition, I guess I should say. If you saw my makeup for a metal show video, which I will have linked up in the eye and down below for you guys if you're curious. I filmed that video yesterday on an impromptu day off that wasn't originally planned, but we had a whole hurricane come towards us in Southern California, which ended up being a tropical storm. So, you know, I took the day off because I didn't, originally it was gonna like, the timing of it was gonna put it like right around the time that I was driving originally to work, and then it shifted and it actually ended up like the majority of the storm ended up happening when I would have been driving home from work, and like I didn't want to do that, so I didn't. But yeah, I had an impromptu day off yesterday, and it's a little dark in here because it's still very cloudy outside, like very cloudy. It's not raining anymore though, which is good, and the wind is gone, which is also good. I will say that it was definitely hyped up to be a much bigger storm than it actually ended up being. I personally would rather be over-prepared and then underwhelmed rather than under-prepared and caught off guard, you know? I just enjoyed a nice chill day off with my husband, which, as you know, we work together, so I don't get those very often. It's usually only like special occasions and holidays that we actually get off together. So we got a nice little day off together. I filmed, did a little like cleaning, stuff like that, but mostly we just kind of hung out for the day. I'm dipping my brow setting brush into the lightest shade in that palette, PCH. I could have just grabbed my brow setting powder, but I didn't feel like it, and this is already open in front of me. But yeah, it was kind of wild. Despite the fact that I literally just said that the storm was underwhelming, before the storm even like truly hit, like don't get me wrong, it was raining, but like the wind hadn't come yet. It was just kind of like the outer edge of the storm. But before it had like truly hit, we got like emergency notifications to our phone that there was an earthquake up in like a little bit north of LA, which isn't super close to us. We didn't feel the earthquake at all. And then, but still, like, you know, hurricane. It's a lot. It's a lot for us little Californians, you know? And then a couple hours later, we got another emergency notification for a place much closer to us. Granted, not close at all. Wasn't actually a concern for us, but much closer to us. It was probably about 45 minutes south of us. There was a tornado warning. So hurricane-nado happened all in one day. And I get that, like, especially like the hurricane situation and like the tornado situation with the wind and stuff like that, there's probably people watching this video going like, yeah, those happen together. Or either of those things are very normal. Now granted, the earthquake part of it, very normal for me. Like very much normal. And it wasn't a massive earthquake and nobody was hurt. There wasn't any like damage, at least nothing like no major damage or anything like that. So it wasn't like, you know, the end of the world or anything like that, but still, to have it all happen in one day, in a state where out of those three things, we only get one, and it's the earthquake. And even then, to be honest with you, like, especially down where I live, I'm rather actually far away from like the major San Andreas fault. We have some fault lines down here, but they're not nearly as active as San Andreas. We don't get earthquakes that often. Or like, at least not earthquakes that like truly fucking rumble. Alright, next up, I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna go into this shade up here, Salty, and I'm gonna press that on to my the open space on my lids. Why was I gonna say open lid? This pretty shadow is so pretty. I probably actually should have made this a little bit more warm toned, considering everything else, like for my cheeks that I grabbed, is much more warm toned, but here we are. I'm neutral, so I can still wear warm. I didn't go like cool toned by any stretch of the imagination. Does anyone else ever have to use both fingers, like both hands, to do either side, like either eye shimmers? I feel like going in like from that direction is such a weird angle, and I don't get the same impact between both eyes if I do that. A very neutral, natural, kind of basic eyeshadow look, but honestly, I'm vibing with it, especially because my metal show makeup look was a little bit more extravagant. The next video that I'm filming is going to be a little bit more extravagant and colorful, so I'm enjoying a little bit of neutrals at the moment. I'm also going to work later, so, you know, I don't want to be like all over the place. I am going to do my liner and base off of camera just because I've done it so many times on camera. I have dedicated videos to both of them. I'll have them linked as well, but I'm going to show you which products I'm going to be using, and I'll have them listed and linked down below for you guys as well, just in case you're curious, because I am still going to use all drugstore products. For my liner, I'm going to use the Physicians Formula Waterproof Eye Booster in the shade Blackest Black. For my primer, I'm going to be using the Milani Supercharged Dewy Primer. I'm also going to take a little bit of the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, and I like to put that underneath my eyes and kind of brighten up some spots on my skin. And then I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Corrector to correct underneath my eyes, and since the concealer that I usually use to spot conceal is not drugstore, because it's just a concealer that I have that I don't love, so I'm kind of just using it up as a spot concealer, I am going to use this to spot conceal just a little bit. For my foundation, I'm going to use the NYX Bear With Me Blur Foundation, and then for my concealer, I'm going to use the Lottie London Got It Covered Concealer. And also, just in case you're curious, all of my setting sprays are also drugstore as well. Before I put on my primer and everything like that, I am going to go in with the NYX Bear With Me multitasking spray, just to kind of add a little bit of extra hydration to my skin. So I'm gonna go do all of that, and I will be right back. Okay, so for my drugstore cream bronzer, I'm using the only one that I have. That was honestly the hardest part of this entire video, was I realized that the vast majority of my like cream cheek products are all high-end for some weird reason. But I'm gonna use the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer in the shade Light. Take my Blur Puff that I used to put on my foundation and concealer and just kind of fix that up a little bit. And then for cream blush, I'm going to use the About Face Cheek Freak in the shade Cowgirl, which is much warmer than the rest of my makeup, but that'll be fine. It's also a pretty sheer cream bronzer too, so it's not like overwhelming in the fact that it's significantly warmer. And then for spray that I like to use once I have all of my creams on, this is drugstore, although I feel like one could argue that the pricing is definitely getting out of drugstore territory. But this is the Morphe Continuous Prep and Set Mist. I'm almost out of this. My best guess is I have probably like one day left in here. Okay, for powder blush, I'm going to go in with my absolute favorite powder blush, and that is the LA Girl Just Blushing Blush in the shade Just Natural. And even though this is still a very warm toned blush, it's going to kind of neutralize out some of those like red tones in that cream and just kind of make it a little bit more peachy. And then for powder bronzer, this one probably won't be a surprise. I'm going to go in with my favorite bronzer, which is the Juvia's Place Bronze Duo in Light. I'm going to go in with the top one, and I might put on just a little bit of that one to kind of deepen up the bronze and like some of the most outer edges. So I actually think what I'll do is I'll probably take that deeper bronze once I'm done setting down the rest of my face to kind of re-intensify where I need to. So I am going to go set down the rest of my face off of camera, but I'll show you guys what I'm using. For my under eyes, I'm going to use the Essence 16-Hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation. This one is broken, but that's fine. And then for the rest of my face, I'm gonna mix together, mostly because this one's a little bit too deep and yellow and this one's a little bit too light and cool, so they'll neutralize each other perfectly. But I'm gonna use the Maybelline Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation and the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I love both of these powder foundations. I actually weirdly really love the way that they mix together. They complement each other very nicely. And then once I have all of that on, I am going to go in with the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Powder just to kind of bring a little bit of life and glow back to my skin. So I'm going to go do all of that off camera and I will be right back. I think the worst part about filming at this time of the morning is like the sun comes in right here and the clouds are obviously fading away. And so the lighting is just like rapidly changing. Like literally I get off from filming and I come back and I have to like readjust literally everything. I should need to turn up this light. Did that make a difference? I don't think so, to be honest. Whatever. Okay, so I obviously quickly did my under eyes as well. I literally just smudged the two mattes that I used on my lids underneath my eyes. Super basic. And then for my blush topper, I'm going to use the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade Pretty Peach. And then for my highlight, I'm going to use the Revlon Skin Lights Highlight in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. And I like to focus it actually a little bit more on like the apples of my cheeks and just kind of like lightly flick it back to the top of my cheekbone. I feel like it helps blend out the edge of that blush while also simultaneously like just adding glow in a very youthful spot. It also doesn't help, not that you guys care, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. It doesn't help that the kind of blinds that we have in this apartment are like the vertical blinds that like click in, and we've lived in this apartment for almost 3 years. A few months ago I realized that we like desperately needed to clean our blinds. You know, our apartment gets humid during the spring and summer. We have cats. They have just like, they were like sticky, which is disgusting, but they were like sticky and like had cat hair on them and shit. So I've been going around from room to room and like taking them down and like cleaning them, like spraying them with Dawn Power Wash and like hosing them down in the shower. Couple that with the fact that they're 3 years old and obviously, you know, windows face outside. All of our windows except for this one right here, which actually is not true because the way the sun sets, the sun comes in on that window in the evening. But every morning, like we have 4 windows actually that face that direction, which is where the sun rises. So every single morning for the past 3 years, because I'm pretty sure these blinds were new when we moved in, every single morning the sun has pounded on them for the past 3 years. So the plastic is starting to get a little bit fragile, and there's a very tiny little space where like they attach to clip up, and they're slowly starting to break. And now I don't know about you guys, but myself personally, I would rather have a full set of blinds in the bedroom so it's darker than have a full set of blinds in here. And I'm gonna be honest, once I'm completely done with all of them, I'm gonna take the broken ones to the leasing office and be like, can I trade and get like this many unbroken ones to put back up? But basically my point is I am currently 3 blinds short in this room. It also doesn't help too that my cats are nosy as all hell, and they'll get up into the blinds and like push them around, so that constant movement of them like swinging back and forth is definitely weakening that little spot where they're connected to the plastic. My point is that currently, like, I've had to close the blinds pretty significantly because the sun's like right the fuck there, and you know how it's like extra bright when it's cloudy, you know? But there's just this big chunk right next to me where there's no blinds, so there's nothing stopping the sun from coming in because there's nothing there. That's why the lighting looks the way that it does, and it's gonna look that way for a couple more videos because I'm not replacing them quite yet. Regardless, once I'm done with my powders, I like to go in with another setting spray, and this is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and And I just like to douse all the powders, you know? Okay, and while this is all setting, I'm going to show you guys everything else that I'm using that's Drugstore, because I'm going to do it all off of camera. I already showed you guys my liquid liner, but for pencil liner, I'm going to go in with the About Face Line Artist Liner in Into the Void on my upper waterline, and then the shade Equestrian on my lower lash line. Essence Lash Princess for my mascara. I got the Milani Weekend Brow for my brows. I also have an Arches and Halo brow powder. For lip liner, it is getting so sunny. For lip liner, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Bare to Comment gel lip liner, and I'm also going to use the Milani Understatement liner in Cinnamon Statement. For lipstick, this might be a little bit excessive, but especially because I'm going to be using 2 lip liners, but that's besides the point. I've been loving this combo lately. I'm going to use 2 of the Maybelline Ultra Matte lipsticks. I have more blonde and more honey, so I like to use more honey kind of on the outer edges and then more blonde in the middle to kind of highlight. And then for lashes, I'm going to use some Shot Missy AOA Studio lashes, which are like $1, so definitely Drugstore. Last but not least, for setting spray, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Super Fix Super Hold Misting Spray to set down the rest of my face. So I am going to go do all of that off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so this is the final look. I think that it's super pretty. I went a little crazy with my lipstick on that side. I think that this makeup look is super pretty. It's obviously very natural, very neutral. No, not natural. I wouldn't necessarily call it natural, but you know what I mean. A little bit more basic, a little bit more, you know, easy. But what did I learn today? I learned a couple things. One, it's very easy for me to do a full face of Drugstore makeup. And comment down below and let me know if you guys would like to see a full face of high-end makeup. I'm pretty sure I could make it happen most of the way. Setting sprays, I don't have any high-end setting sprays, but like, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure I could do a full face. Oh, I don't have setting powders either. Okay, well, mostly full face. Comment down below if you guys want to see that. I could do that for you. The other thing that I learned today is that if I actually sit down and start filming by like 8:30, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm awake at that time anyway. I'm awake a couple hours before then even. But if I sit down and I start filming at like before 8:30, I could easily film a video before work. Like, I'm going in late today because I thought that I would need more time. But assuming that the content itself is not overly complicated and that I don't dig around too much, which I have been known to dig around, I could easily film a video before work, which is good to know considering like this fall and winter, I'm actually, like, we have some stuff going on with the family, which is going to involve me more than likely working, like, probably, like, overtime. Like, I'm already, like, just at the limit of full-time. I don't technically work full-time, but, like, then I more than likely will be working, like, full-time hours, which means not gonna have a ton of days off to be able to film. So the concept that I could actually get up, especially once time changes and it starts getting lighter earlier, I could easily get up and like film an easier video before work. Like, I wouldn't wear like do like a Halloween video before work or something like that, obviously, but like a makeup look like this, I could easily do this before work and then just get ready and go to work. Like, I could leave now and technically be early to work. I'm not going to do that because I don't have to be there till 2, but what am I going to do for the next like 3 hours? Anyways, that's what I learned today. Has nothing to do with your guys' life, but that's what I learned today. So, like I said, comment down below and let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing this video, but like the high-end version, because I could totally do that. Please subscribe if you have not already. It would mean the world to me. Like this video, ring the bell, do all the things. I hope that you guys have an awesome, awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!